where the lady is doing the cake, but I haven't been there and I haven't gotten the baby yet. I'm sure I will my first bite.
No. We only get the baby delivered. You got to get on the Hunley baby delivery service. Josh, I just changed it back for a second. Hey, everybody. We're going to get started here in a minute. 12:30, Big Joel community call, weekly Tuesday call. We're going to get going here. I see some people still coming on. About a minute, we'll get started. Let me see if I see anybody new. Oh, we got James Seafood Tower Huddle on today. That's always interesting. Mr. Rocco. Tony showing the forearms. Oh, Peyton, I even get to see her. Hey, Peyton. I see Teresa Green is hiding. Jen, who is that? Oh, Michelle Mickles. Okay, excellent. Damaris, we get today. Who is EMC Shane, by the way? EMC Shane. Screen name. I see Sammy NX, Mr. Marks, BNO. Mark Who is that?
It's Ed's SA. That's Aaron.
Ah, okay, excellent. Josh, if you want to mark, that's Ed's new assistant.
Great.
Just so we know. Mr. Gaudreau, look at this, man. Full house. Hey, Travis, how are you? All right, everybody, we're going to get going. Welcome to the 12:30 Big Joel community call. We're going to change it up a little bit. As you know, we've had Housing Wire on here weekly. We're going to start having Clayton on once a month or maybe once every 3 weeks to give us a big update. Got a lot of feedback from all of you all that you guys love the call. I was going to take the call to every other week. Everyone said, no. We love the call weekly. And lots of suggestions from people for me to start doing quick, meaningful interviews with loan officers, just to either A, get some good dialogue going, or B, just give you some information if you're just listening or if you're in your car or whatever. Little housekeeping, a couple of things. Upper right-hand corner is the chat. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. Josh is probably going to mute everyone when we start, except for Mike Ullmann, just because we have a lot of people on today. But we do want to get to questions if you have them, so please put them in the chat. As you all know, if you turn your camera on, I'd love to engage with you. Hard for me to engage if your camera isn't on, so feel free to flick it on if you'd like to. Just quick housekeeping. We do have a 1 hour agent jumpstart today. We did the last one about 3 weeks ago. It was awesome. We got great feedback. We took that 4-week program and jammed it all into an hour. We do still have time to add. Anyone that's on this call, sort of my gift to you, you can certainly add agent partners comped. You just need to get the link. Josh will put that link in the chat right now. You just need to send that link to your agent partners and they just need to go ahead and get registered. That's a 3 p.m. Eastern call, 1 hour. I'm doing the call. Lots of information, jam-packed. The agents really dig it. We also have a crush group starting April 2nd for anyone that's interested in that. That is a mortgage crush group. Okay, so last week, at the last 2 weeks in a row, I was pounding you all on a rising rate environment. And I was going at it to the point where I got phone calls from some executives at companies that asked if they could take the video and share it with their loan officers because of my theories on pre-qualifying above the market, making sure every loan is locked, not playing the market, things like that. So I am going to touch on that a little bit later. But today, for our first inaugural Big Joel Community Call interview, I have my friend, Mr. Michael Ullmann. Some of you all know Mike. Some of you all don't know Michael. He's coming to us out of what we call Nova or Northern Virginia in what we call the DMZ, which is DC, Maryland, DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. Michael's in Northern Virginia, works for First Heritage Mortgage. I've known Michael for a while, full disclosure. Michael and I do work together as well, but that's not why he's on here. He's on here because he does a good job and he exemplifies a lot of the things that great LOs do. So Michael Ullmann, welcome to the call.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So just to give everyone a little, so they know we're coming from, what year did you get in the mortgage business?
Got licensed around May, June of 2012.
2012. So he's a post meltdown LO, which is always interesting. So 2012. And what's amazing is that was 9 years ago already, which is amazing.
Feels like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So Michael, just real quick, not to get into this, just bona fides. Last year, how many units?
About
Ballpark?
225 units.
225. And how many of those were purchases? Just ballpark?
81% of it was purchased.
Okay, perfect. Okay, it's great.
170.
A lot of loan officers had 50-50 years last year. We have some loan officers that had 80-20 years, as in 80% refi, 20% purchase, and most of them will be selling cars probably in September if they don't pull it together and make sure they're listening to the cool stuff we're talking about today. So Mike Ullmann, in arguably the biggest refi year ever, 81% purchase. Mike, again, just to give people a feel, what is your average loan amount?
355,000.
Okay. And as far as your product mix, you're pretty much all over the map. You're a good guy to talk to about that, right?
Yes, 60% conventional, 15% FHA, 15% VA, 10% bond. Bond for me is primarily in Virginia, but a little bit of bond in Maryland and DC. For anybody knows that this area, if you're doing loans in Northern Virginia, you essentially have to do loans in Maryland and DC. It's not uncommon for clients that get pre-approved to be shopping in all 3 states because we're all on top of each other. So I do a little bit of everything, throw in some USDA as well. That's my product mix.
So the reason I like to ask that question, everyone, is a lot of times I hear loan officers getting interviewed, and all we hear is their volume. We usually don't hear their units. People don't realize their product mix. I like all of you all to know, as you're thinking of questions, we're talking. This is not some guy that's just doing jumbo loans or high balance conventionals. He's doing every different type of loan. Okay, Mike, just again, give people a reference. What are your March projections right now for units? Just ballpark.
31 units in March.
Okay, excellent.
$12 million in volume.
Okay, excellent. So first question, I wanted to ask you was, the big one, everyone is screaming and yelling about inventory right now. I'm curious how your agent partners are handling it and how you're handling the stress of having to either give multiple, pre-qual letters or letters on different properties, and just honestly deal with your agent partners, frustration in the market, because a lot of this falls on us. And I think it would be interesting for the group to hear how you're handling it, what conversations you have with your partners, what they're saying, what you're saying back. How are you supporting them? Because they're all pretty stressed right now.
Yeah, 100%. So first and foremost, this is something I kind of put into place already before inventory issues, but I'm stressing it more so than ever to agent partners. When a client is ready to make an offer, I ask the agent partner to tag me on the email offer, as well as send me a separate text with the listing agent's info. I literally try to stalk the listing agent. When that offer comes out and I'm CC'd, I will immediately send a private email to the listing agent. Hey, I'm the lender for this potential buyer. Just want to let you know they have excellent credit. I've received their pay stubs, W-2s. I've confirmed their down payment funds and closing costs. That kind of script. I will text them and I'll try to call them. In the past, it wasn't as crucial. Generally, if an offer was made that was solid, your client probably got that house. Right now in this area, and I'm sure everybody else listening is going through the same thing. If a house is priced well, there's 15, 20, 30 offers. So I'm certainly trying to be proactive with the listing agents, because they're really, at this point, I'm not getting any calls from listing agents asking me about financing. It's been a while since listing agents have been reaching out.
Amazing.
Because I don't think they're going to reach out to 15 or 20 lenders at a time. So I'm doing that. I'm stressing big time to get documents up front, get a true pre-approval going. Do not introduce me to a client on a Friday that wants to write on Saturday morning. Get me in front of them earlier.
Stop, Michael, stop that for a second. I don't want that to go by so quickly. Okay. What you just said. And I'm not trying to stop your flow, but I want to make sure everyone heard that. Agents, famous play, call you at 4:30 on a Friday, need a pre-qual on this guy, taking him out to show houses. And we are always thinking, wait a minute, did you literally just find out that you were taking them out right now? Which, by the way, sometimes is the case, and they get a phone call and someone's coming in from, Afghanistan, and they need to look at houses, and then they're leaving in 3 days, whatever. Yeah, that happens. But for the most part, when you ask your agent partners, you very quickly find out that they've known about this since Tuesday. Yeah. And because it's so important that we are giving complete pre-approvals and pre-quals right now for our clients to get the houses, it's a very unique time to teach our agent partners how to really partner with us. And I didn't want to stop his role. I wanted to make sure every single one of you heard that. That's a huge best practice. Michael is slowly teaching his partners, hey, get to me quicker. As soon as you know, tell me. Don't wait. And it's not even about the fact that Michael wants to stop what he's doing on Friday night and do it. He doesn't care. He'll do that. What it's about is it's pretty hard to fully dock a file and be able to tell a listing agent your person's fine in 20 minutes. Unless, of course, the person has all their docs teed up, which you and I both know never happens.
And to sort of play off of that, and I don't want to repeat myself, but I'm sure this is common in the markets that everybody watching is in. Most of these offers, contingencies are being waived. I don't think a client that I've worked with in the last 6 months has done a home inspection, but forget that contingency. If clients are going to waive an appraisal contingency, if clients are going to waive a financing contingency, if they're going to waive certain things, I better have as complete a file as possible. I'm not in a position where I'm telling clients to waive certain contingencies if they're applying with me, 8 hours before they want to write an offer. It's not good business. So if a client is going to waive an appraisal contingency, I not only want to see that they have the down payment funds and the closing cost funds, I want to see that they have funds above and beyond that to actually make up an appraisal that comes in short. So now more than ever, I'm having the discussion about getting me the clients earlier so I can fully dock them out and really pre-approve them so that I can advise them on what contingencies may or may not make sense if their realtor wants them to waive them, as well as quick closings. I mean, and I'm not saying a 5-day closing, but it's somebody closing in 21 days or less, it doesn't make sense if the file is not fully complete, because then you're just going to stick it in your op system and blow the system up. I mean, if you're going to take a quick closing, it should be a complete file. So that's the discussions I'm having with agents. Sort of before this market, some of the agents were like hesitant to include me on the offers. They didn't want the listing agent calling me and saying, hey, do they really need a seller concession? They wanted to avoid that, but I'm getting no pushback now. The agents are like, hey, that's wonderful. If you can reach out to this agent and try to get them on the phone and talk to them about the client, please do. So that's
now, I want to explain to everyone, the reason Michael is able to do this is he has real relationships with his partners. Some of you all are probably thinking, oh, they would never do that. They wouldn't do it because you're transactional and not relational with them. So when you make an ask like that, even to help them, they need to fully trust you. And a lot of work goes into that before that can even happen, because we know it makes total sense. Why would you not? But you heard what Michael said in the before, and what's gone on during is he's deepened a lot of those relationships to where he is partnering with these people, not just a transactional cog in the wheel.
The other thing I'll mention, and it might seem a little, brazen or just a little bit like cocky. This is the first market ever where I have listing agents who are saying to people making offers, hey, I would consider your offer, but Navy Fed is out. You're talking to Michael. You're giving him everything he asked for. And if he says you're good, I'll consider your offer if you get financing through him. And, this never happened a couple of years ago, but I'm getting deals every month now that are, I didn't know the buyer until they made an offer, and I pre-approve them and get them to work with me, which, it's a function of the market. If there's 20 offers and a client has been rejected 10 times already, there's a good chance that they're going to ditch, Navy Fed, name a couple of lenders that are prevalent in your market that client might ditch and work with you if the listing agent is dictating it to them. And I'm doing that in multiple, markets, so to speak. So if you know the Metro DC area, I'm doing that in Northern Virginia. I'm doing that in DC. I'm doing that in, areas that are 30 miles south of Virginia. And, it's not that the client's getting way worse terms with me. I mean, I'm giving them, solid rates and a solid, scenario in general, but I'm closing deals like that. And that I didn't necessarily push my agents to do that, but some of them are happy to make that request, and it works out well.
So all of you that listen to me rant and rave on here every week, and you hear me talking about coming out from behind your pile of refis, hitting the street and seeing the back of a T-Rex loan officer, this is a T-Rex loan officer. This is a loan officer that's going to turn his head and go, back off, back to the car sales lot, get away. Because I don't know where you were, but you're not talking to these agents. These are people I partner with, and you may as well go away now. Okay, so if you're not concentrating on the correct activities right now, you are going to be toast in October when there's no more refis to close. And just so you know where I'm getting those numbers, they're statistical numbers based on amount of people that can refinance, based on loans that meet criteria where they can refinance. And the people getting financing now, obviously they won't be able to refinance because their rates are so low. And where these numbers are coming from is most of these people will close. They'll be locked in over the summer and close September. And October, November, December, we're going to be in a normalized purchase market with just need-based refis. So if you're not concentrating on your purchase money referred business from your agent partners, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Now, I want to make one more reference to those of you that have been through a crush group or maybe not. What Michael's talking about doing here is what we talk about week 13 in a crush group. It's really important, but you have to have the relationship to be able to do it. I've never seen in my whole career a more unique and better time for us to step in as the major part of the transaction, not just a spoke of the wheel with the agents. Agents need us now more than they have ever needed us since I've been doing this 30 plus years, ever. They've never needed us this much before. And it's a perfect time to coach them up and explain to them how to best work with us as their partners so they can sell more houses. Clearly, it's not so we can do a better, make it easier for us, so they can literally sell more houses.
Yeah.
And great agents work with great lenders, and that's how they sell more houses. Great lenders get people really pre-approved with all the docs. They don't write bogus letters. Sorry, Michael, you going to say something?
No, I think for me, with the agent partners I work with, it's about providing knowledge, providing them information. So, I have agents that they'll put up a listing and they'll text me, hey, this listing that I'm about to put up, it's a condo, is it FHA approved? I mean, I could save 2 minutes and send them the link and say, hey, stop asking me that. Here's the link. You can do it yourself. Or I can and let them keep coming back to me to ask me those questions. I prefer them to come to me. I prefer an agent to ask me, hey, this listing I'm about to add, is it USDA eligible? What's going to be the income limit? Or is it FHA approved? Or is it VA approved? I'd rather them come to me. I give them the knowledge rather than just blow them off and say, check it yourself. So that's really the approach I take with everything. It sort of leads back to something Joel asked me in the very beginning. How am I dealing with having to write pre-approval letters and run payment estimates for clients 100 times over? It sounds silly. I actually prefer it, right? Because that client has now asked me for a payment, 22 times instead of 2 times, and they feel more like they owe me something, right? The client that I've written 20 pre-approval letters for, and have given them 20 payment estimates, they're less likely to go into contract and tell me, hey, Bank of America is offering me an eighth less. I mean, we've built a rapport over the
What are the 2 best sales techniques?
It's guilt and guilt is one. I don't know the other.
Guilt and sympathy.
Guilt
You
and
can't
sympathy.
have
Sorry.
either one of them without a relationship. And to translate what Michael's saying is, he doesn't look at it like it's a pain in the butt. He looks at it like he's deepening and solidifying a relationship with his client, so it'll make it easier, so they won't go anywhere because of the level of service that he's providing. Just to translate that for you, that's exactly what he's saying there. Big time. Michael, one more question, and then we'll let you go, and we really appreciate your time. How are you handling, what do you do to, last year was arguably, it was a COVID year, but probably one of the busiest years for mortgage people ever. What do you do to kind of, blow off a little steam? What do you do to, release a little air? What do you do to make sure that you stay sane in this crazy market? Because when I hear loan officers talk about, I love when I hear these loan officers talking about, I need me time, I need some downtime. And I'm like, dude, are you thinking right now? I mean, when the sun is shining, make hay. And I don't care if you need to make hay for 3 years in a row, because the sun won't be shining. And then you can go to Aruba for 2 weeks and turn your phone off if you want. But the best loan officers in the country never turn their phone off. It always cracks me up. But I know you find ways to blow off a little steam. What do you do to sort of stay sane? By the way, Michael has one little munchkin who's been at home with them, who's only been recently back in daycare. So, and she's just like her father, likes to talk and is very busy. How do you keep sane? How did you keep sane in all this? What are you doing to keep sane now?
Yeah, so I essentially 2 things. In the winter, I ski, and in the, our winters are kind of mild. So from pretty much now into November/December, I do mountain bike riding. When I go mountain bike riding, it's in trails in the middle of nowhere. My phone, can ring, but it's in my backpack, so I'm not really picking it up. And for that hour, 2 hours that I'm mountain bike riding, that's what I'm focusing on. If you're going to do mountain bike trails and you are thinking about some random deal that has some hair because the gift can't come in or whatever, you're probably going to end up crashing because you're not focused in front of you. Skiing, the same thing. I mean, I'll have my phone on. If it makes sense to take the call, I will. But it's the same kind of idea. For those X amount of hours, you're focusing on skiing. I spend time with, I have my 4-year-old and my wife, and we spend time together on the weekends. I have her in a basketball clinic that she doesn't even want to do, and I'm forcing her to play in and whatnot. But that's really, that's it. I mean, you referenced Aruba. I go on trips, but my referral agents have no idea. I mean, I can be doing a pre-qual on my phone from, or sending a pre-approval letter for a client that I've already docked out, of course. I could be doing it from a ski lift. I could be doing it from a beach in Cabo. They have no idea. I've never in the last 9 years put an away message on Outlook. I don't even know how. If you ask me how to put an away message, I wouldn't know how to do it. It's not my style. When I'm away, my agent partners don't need to know about it. I don't see the point. I never want them to think, oh, Mike is in Cabo, let me call some other loan officer. I'd rather them call me. I'll take the call. I'll tell my team sort of what to do, or I'll do it. and I move along. So that's the way I've dealt with it. It's worked out great. I never feel like I'm missing out on business because I went away and I turned off my phone for a week. And the last thing I'll say, I'm certainly of the opinion, take advantage of the market while it's good. I'm going to do as much business as I can until I can't. And I'll worry about, sitting on a beach with my phone off at some later date. That's really the approach that I've taken.
Yeah, and that it's funny. I was on a call this morning with someone that I work one-on-one with, and we were talking about not telling people where you are, that it's really nobody's business. Nobody needs to know where you are. And those of you that have been through my new loan officer training, where I give you the away message in your phone, if someone leaves a message, basically you're always with clients. I mean, no one needs to know where you are. There's no reason, especially today with the way we communicate. So it's 12:58. You all know I like to be trying to keep these calls to 30 minutes. Does anybody have any questions you want to put in the chat for Mr. Ullmann? He is an extremely nice guy and will talk to just about anyone at any time. Sometimes I have to beg him to stop talking to people so we can get other stuff done. But Michael, what best way for them to find you is maybe just hit you up on Facebook or whatever, or
yeah, I'll put my phone number, my email, definitely look me up on Facebook, whatever it is.
okay. Yeah. And Michael is a prime example for those of you that are building your purchase business. When I started with Michael, his business did not look like this. And by the way, it doesn't look like this because of the COVID year at all. He would have looked exactly the same. Maybe he did some refis he wouldn't have done, but his purchase business would be no different based on the plan that he's working. So he's not a product of, COVID crazy time.
Yeah, 2019, I did 170 units or so.
Yeah.
So, I added some refis, but I added purchase business as well.
And got the baby and the king cake. That was just for
somehow I always get that. I know that the fix is in, and I'll prove it one day. But
there's no fix. There's no fix. All right, everybody. Remember from last week, pre-qual, 3/4 over until you get caught in an upward market with a lot of danglers, and it never comes back for 18 months. You won't know the pain, and of which I'm telling you, please qualify 3/4 above. Remember, refis, doc, lock, schedule. No docs, no lock. After you lock it, schedule it. Your ops people will love you for that. That way they can treat your refinance just like a purchase loan. There's nothing ops people hate worse than unscheduled refis cruising around in their pipeline, and they don't know when it's going to close, and they got to order 19 different payoffs based on when it's going to close. Okay? Doc, lock, and schedule. Everyone have an awesome week. Be safe out there. Michael Ullmann, thank you so much. We'll talk to you all next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.